What's happening, guys? Welcome back to Born Offside. Last week we didn't have OLANTEKKERS. This week we don't have Kat because she's in New Zealand covering the final World Cup qualifiers to see who's going to qualify for Australia, New Zealand 2023. But replacing her today, we'll get to you in a second, Olan.
Okay.
We've got Anthony Lacascio, comedian and Juventus super fan. Thanks for joining us, man.
That's all right. I'm happy to be the female voice for this week.
That's it. It's good. Nice and soothing. We need that.
Absolutely.
Because on this side of the couch, we've got OLANTEKKERS back from the UFC.
Yep, I was in Perth.
Wh-
Perth, bruv.
What were you doing there, bro?
I was doing all things, interviewing,
right.
covering some stuff for
You live the
KO.
life.
I was working hard.
You live the life.
I was
mate.
I was working
Did
hard.
you meet any famous people?
I saw Idris Adesanya. How do you say his name?
Adesanya?
Adesanya.
Yeah,
Saw
yeah.
him
Yeah.
like 10 meters away from me, and then I saw the owners of a steak,
Right.
who are billionaires, by the way. If you don't know who they are,
There you
Drake
go.
sponsored them, so I saw them. I was networking.
Yeah, please do. We need a sponsor here for
Yeah,
the
I was
pod, mate. Sort
networking.
it
I
out.
was like, listen,
I'm surprised. You know
we
what I was thinking?
we got a potty.
I was hoping you'd come back with some sort of conversation with Prime, with Logan and KSI. Were they off limits?
Mate, it was too fucking hard to get
Really?
any sort of access to them too. They were staying in the Ritz Carlton or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And I think I saw one person that got like a lucky video with them, and he was in the hotel lobby like just waiting for them for hours, and then he got Logan for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's a bit
So
much.
I was like, bro, I'm not doing all that stuff. If
No.
I see them.
Yeah.
But that was about it.
When was this?
This was last week.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Logan Paul made it to Montreal over the weekend for Elimination Chamber that quickly, huh?
What?
He was there?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
He's
He
very
attacked
good
Seth
at
Rollins,
wrestling.
man.
Bro, he's
yeah,
everywhere.
Good. He's real good.
That private jet is doing mileage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah, he was there on Saturday.
So they were in Perth, then they were in Sydney for a little, like 1 or 2 days. So they were actually got back to Sydney before me. Like, I was still
Right.
in Perth when they were in Sydney.
Yeah, they're quick,
and
man.
then it was out.
You need that private jet thing.
Yeah, I need that private jet, man.
Yeah. Before we do continue with the football storylines of the world, we are going to have 2 pods. We've got Lockie Rose on as well later this week to talk all things Australian football. MacArthur forward. We're going to talk a little bit more about the world football today. But before we all do that, the biggest storyline, the most important storyline, of course, we spoke last week about everything going on in Turkey and in Syria. It's an absolute natural catastrophe. And a member of the football community, Christian Atsu, former Chelsea player, Newcastle player, unfortunately was found deceased under all the rubble there, and there's thousands and thousands of lives that have been lost, but this one really, of course, comes to light and I guess shines a light on everybody else as well and all their families because it is a member of the football community. So our hearts goes out to everyone in those communities, and anyone whose family here in Australia as well, Turkish background, Syrian background. I know there are a lot of those communities here, so it's terrible, terrible news. But to kick off our pod now with the football, I did say we're going to go around the world. This kind of technically is world football. It's the Matildas. It's great to see the Matildas here playing on home soil in a bit of like a dummy group stage, preparing for the World Cup. They played
Combank.
down in Combank, down in your stomping
down in
ground.
my ends, I
ends.
missed it because I had a little of a business to attend to.
Yeah.
But it was a great performance.
It was a great performance. They beat Spain, albeit a bit of a Spanish B team because of everything that's going on with the Spanish national team. But it's a big one. It was a great one. Courtney Vine.
Did you see that goal? Did you see
Some
that
hit.
goal?
No.
Oh my days.
Some hit.
I'm not even like a big fan of like hyping up goals and stuff.
Yeah.
That was a banger.
This is what I'm saying.
First time finesse.
And I didn't think Courtney Vine was known for Tekkers.
I'll be honest. I thought she was a speed merchant.
Yeah, we saw her at the Adidas event, whipping some tricks out.
We're not gonna discuss what
It wasn't
happened.
bad. It wasn't bad. I'm just saying.
It was decent. It was decent. But I thought she was a bit.
It was a
of
bit like
speed
Usman Dembele unveiling vibes.
Yes, yeah, a little bit like that.
Right?
And then I was like,
Bang.
That one shocked me. I was like, whoa.
Exactly. You don't need a juggle to be a great footballer. She proved that. Shut us up big time.
for sure,
Fantastic
for sure.
finish. Congrats to Claire Polkinghorne as well, which became the most capped Australian footballer, male or female.
Saw that.
153 caps for Australia, which is massive. This is an interesting one. Producer Shabs tossed this in. I want to get your opinion. We're gonna get political here with you because we've got you on the pod. We know you like to get political.
Okay.
You do like to get political.
if we can
see your videos.
If we can cancel you by the end of the pod, we've done our job. If you Google most appearances for Australia,
Okay.
Mark Schwarzer comes up.
Legend.
With a legend. Good friend of mine as well. I like to plug
Oh,
that.
here we go.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Chuck that in there. Claude always does
I
it.
haven't spoken to him in a while. Most appearances for Australia, Mark Schwarzer comes up with 109. Now, Claire Polkinghorne is 153. Does Google need to fix this? Because it's not most appearances for Socceroos. It's most appearances for Australia. Same if you most goals for Australia, you'll get Tim Cahill. You won't get Sam Kerr.
This is the technical one we were talking about
Is this
before.
a problem? Should this be addressed?
I mean, with who? Like the Google Analytics team?
Mr. Google.
Is it inaccurate? Yes.
Yes.
Is it shit? Yes.
Okay.
But like that's no one's fault.
Okay.
I don't think we need to get hung up about this. No.
Okay.
Because it's based on the search engine optimization.
So you're saying
right?
more people are searching for
that than that.
Okay.
It's got nothing to do with justice.
Who actually is the top
So
scorer?
so what I'm saying is,
So who is actual the most appearances?
if we fix the internalized misogyny in society,
Oh,
go.
God,
Yeah,
here we
here we
go.
go.
then
So it's a much bigger problem than
I
Google.
told you I'm the female voice today.
Yeah,
Right?
it's good. It's a
What am
much
I gonna
bigger-
do?
That was a good one.
I like that. So it's a much bigger problem than
Oh,
Google.
it goes deep to the souls of the people that are searching for these things.
Right. Fantastic. Well, shining the light on the women's game before we move on. Big shout out to someone we've had on the show before, DA, Deborah Ann Della Harb.
Oh, she got a call up, didn't she?
Got to call it for Ireland.
Ireland. Before Socceroos.
Socceroos or Matildas?
No, I'm saying before Socceroos, she got.
Matildas. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
we all
shit.
understand
We're
what
all-
Ireland's trying to
for
say.
fuck's sake.
This is why
It's
Google's
'cause
broken.
That was your fault.
That
That was
is
your
why
fault. I'm
Google's-
giving you that. Fuck, you had my mind. I was like, hold on, Matilda
But-
Socceroos.
but
We're all
you're-
one. We're all one.
We're all
Yes.
one. Exactly.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, before Australia. Obviously, it's probably harder to make that Australian side. But we had her on the pod. She was really keen. She played for Australia Youth.
Yeah, she
but
did,
eventually,
she
like,
did.
how long do you wait until you accept a different call-up, right? So she's moved on there. She's playing for Ireland, and they're in the same group as Australia. They actually play Australia in the opening game of the World Cup. So if she does go on to play at the World Cup in Sydney
Oh, that could get very techie.
and score against Australia, it's nasty.
Oh, yeah.
nasty.
I would want to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
you would.
I would
A
want
giant
to.
fuck you.
Goal or an
Yeah,
assist. Yeah,
it's, it's a funny thing. We've spoken a lot on the pod about the players like Volpato, players that choose to go and play for another nationality.
So-
That fires you up?
Yeah. My cousin played with Volpato.
Why
for
does
a
that
little-
fire you up?
You're Aussie. You got to play for Australia. Like this,
Oh, you just said you want DA to go and score against Australia.
Yeah, I would want to if I was her.
Okay.
right? But I think it's different circumstances.
But if both are calling you-
Volpato could have easily played for Australia.
Okay.
Like if a player is born in a particular country and that particular country, like I think Volpato's parents are born in Australia too.
I'm not sure.
If you're born in a particular country and that country is a lesser power,
Yeah.
you should represent that country.
Okay.
Right.
I hear that side of it, but from a career perspective, if you could play for Australia or Italy, who are you playing for? Playing for Italy.
But
Okay,
should
but
national
that's-
team be a career choice?
That's assuming
It is a career choice.
It should be.
I-
It is.
Isn't that
I-
what club football's for?
I agree with Claudes because. Okay, if you
Don't
don't have
do
a,
this.
if you don't have a choice,
Don't-
it's a different story. Half of the England team currently are Irish, right?
Yeah. Some of them. Yeah, I
Declan
hear
Rice
that.
played for
Rice.
Ireland. Declan Rice
Yeah.
played for Ireland. Jack Grealish played for Ireland. They're trying to get Evan Ferguson, the Brighton
But
forward.
that's what I'm saying. It's a career choice as well. It has to be.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they
yeah.
would have just gone and played for Ireland. Then.
So then there's
is, 'cause
like then why should we give a fuck about the World Cup?
No, that's not the question. You can't just. That's like, oh, why should we care about football? That's like going. You know what I mean? Like
you
got
growing up. You grew
I
up
hear what you're
Aussie,
saying.
Italian,
Okay,
Greek.
let me tell you
right?
something.
The-
When I created Anthony Lukascia in FIFA 06,
where did he play?
he always played for Italy.
Okay,
alright?
so there you go.
Because I was a dumb teenager.
Well,
But
but
Volpato's a
yeah,
teenager.
exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, well,
Also, apparently his mum's an asshole, but
No comment. No comment.
No comment
Volpato,
on that.
if you ever
That's-
listen to this,
yeah.
it's not coming from me.
he's
Mrs.
never listening to this. He's listening to Rai International. He doesn't give a shit.
True.
Mrs. V, that is not the views of the
Mrs.
pod.
V.
If you'd like to come and sit on the pod, that is not the views of the rest of
Yeah,
us. That is
that's
the
right.
views of
It's
our
just
guests for today.
Kat Haddad's view.
We will get back to Australian football a bit later on. Let's go with some international news now. We're going to go to the Prem. A lot of people want us to talk Prem. Eden Hazard sitting here next to me. Chelsea lost again. We're going to talk about that loss in a sec, Olan.
Yeah.
The latest rumor is, because the way to fix everything is just buy, right? I don't know if
Just
you
throw money at
I know
everyone.
you've got misses. Actually, both of you lads got misses, right? And if you ever do anything wrong, you just buy them something, right? That's the solution.
That's actually
right?
not
That's
the
what you do.
It's not the solution.
That's
at
not a
all.
solution.
Not at all.
No?
No.
Okay.
That's Band-Aid over a broken knee. You know,
Right.
that's- Yeah.
Well, that's
Agreed.
You can tell I'm single. But Chelsea owner Todd Bowley is looking to fix the issues of losing games with buying more players. Word is he's flown to Paris to discuss with Neymar's representatives about a potential move in the summer. Neymar to Chelsea, would that be a good move for either parties?
Honestly, like I can't wrap my head around who even is at Chelsea at the moment.
There's a lot.
Like I'm actually confused.
I think there's 35
Like,
players.
imagine you're Potter. You just every week you turn up. There's a new player that you got to fit into like
How do you
the
fit the-
tactics that you're trying to. What?
Even the drills. How do you accommodate for that many
That's
players?
what I'm saying. It really baffles me at the moment. I have no idea who our best starting 11 is, who we've signed, who's going, who's staying in the summer. I'm just all over the place.
It's hard to love him.
I think if Neymar comes in, that's the death knell for Ziyech, Pulisic,
They're all gone.
Aubameyang.
Yeah.
I mean, Aubameyang's already fucked anyway.
Yeah, I reckon this summer we've just got
Clear out.
Sell.
It's got to be.
It's got to be
It's gotta be a
massive
sell.
clear out.
I think it's a great move for Neymar, though.
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Big time.
For him to come out of Paris is
Get
shit.
out of there.
Paris
eh?
is garbage.
He's undervalued there.
He's undervalued there. He can come to the Premier League, be an actual global star
Yeah.
on a global stage.
Yeah.
He'll start.
Yeah,
Like,
big time. Has to.
I'd love
I
I'd
think
love
it'd be
the
great for
idea of Neymar at Chelsea, but
Yeah.
I can't see it happening though.
I don't know. He's a G. He would do so well there. Chelsea are shit anyway. It's like at least
So shit.
let's at least get a G in camp or someone that's gonna like bring the glitz and the glam back to Stamford Bridge. He hurt himself this
Neymar?
in their game against Lille. It was a great game. 4-3. Messi scored in the 95th minute to win it. It was
Yeah,
a
I saw
fantastic
that.
game. If you haven't seen it, watch the highlights. Neymar hurts himself. Ankle injury again. Stretcher off. I wish him all the best in his recovery. Hope he's well. But it's coincidental timing, right?
This is the same time of year that
he hurt him- he
his
hurt himself-
mother and shit.
He hurt himself.
No way.
He hurt himself on the 19th of February, right?
This fucking guy.
Now,
bruv.
Carnival kicked off on the 19th of February.
Oh.
So he always tends to get injured in the week of Carnival in Brazil, which is mental, right? Look up Carnival. It's just fucking, it looks sick, right? Have you ever been to Carnival or anything?
No.
No? I'd like to. Would you like to
Yeah,
go?
it'd be amazing.
It would be amazing.
What are you guys doing later?
Yeah, exactly right.
I
And
feel my knee. I can't. Something's going on here.
he's got injured just in time for that, and his sister's birthday is on the 11th of March.
That's what I'm saying. The sister one is a weird one.
There's
'cause
an interesting relationship with his sister.
It's a bit suspect.
It's very
but
South American. South Americans know what I mean. Like, have you ever seen
Wait,
South
what
American
does that
siblings?
mean?
That's gross.
Have you seen South American siblings?
Yeah.
Just break that down.
I've seen South American siblings. Like, the sister will sit on the brother's lap.
Yeah, pause.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've met a few Uruguayans' eyes are a bit too close to each other. I know what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like they, and then they, yeah. They're very close. They're very
my
close. Lots
God.
of kissing and hugging between siblings. I don't
Look,
know.
I don't know if that's the Neymar.
I think I saw a video where Neymar like slapped his mum's ass or something like that. No, I'm being dead serious. Chaps, you look it up. I'm sure there's a video.
Have you guys seen
Someone
the
like
Neymar doco on Netflix?
I haven't watched
It's
it.
a weird family.
Yeah,
Like,
I've seen a bit. Oh, his dad's a bit.
Neymar Senior's
Yeah,
cooked.
he's a bit cooked.
Yeah.
I have seen that.
I think that's maybe the one drawback of him moving to Chelsea. It's that the tabloids will tear
Eat that
him
up.
Smash him.
apart.
Oh yeah, they
You
eat
don't
that
get
up.
away with
They're
They
gonna
would-
it's
they
gonna
would-
be Wayne Rooney times 100 for them. So
Yeah.
I think they're loving it.
Yeah.
That's probably part of the motivation for Chelsea wanted to sign him anyway, just to keep the circus going.
Yeah.
'Cause they're not making the Champions
Keep Chelsea
League.
relevant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
exactly
totally.
right. Well, he's besides 2022, he's been injured at this point every year since 2015. Injured or suspended.
19th of February.
in that time.
The
period.
last week of Feb, first week of March.
Wow.
And including
That is not a
three
coincidence.
times it's been a fifth yellow card in this 2-week
Oh,
period.
no
So
shit.
he times his fifth
So
yellow
even
card
times the yellow, so he skips and
for
misses
this
a
period.
week. Wow.
Exactly.
That's,
Just to go back to
that's
Brazil.
an artist, bro.
He's
That's,
great.
yeah.
He's great. I love him, man. He's
I
one of the
actually
last
like-
rock stars.
I actually like him a lot too.
Yeah, he's one of the last rock stars. But let's talk a little bit about Chelsea. Plenty of questions coming through. They did lose to Southampton, which were rock bottom in the league, Olan. Scorera, Potter out if we don't beat Dortmund.
No.
No? There's no point. You
I'm
may as well
just-
stick with it.
I'm just saying, give him time, man. I'm just saying, give him just, especially with the changes and everything that's going on. I think just give him time. Like what's the worst that can happen?
It's true. Let him
We're
pick his
already
own
11th.
20 players. Let him at least get to his own players, right? Because at the moment, he's having to mix and match every week. And Tati1999 has asked, can we have Tommy T back? Look, Ash,
He's not doing anything.
I mean, he's not doing anything. He's going through a divorce. I think. He's going through some tough times.
Is he really?
Yeah.
that's
He
not
was down
fun.
in Melbourne for the Australian Open.
I was lighting a few candles for him to replace Max Allegri at U of A.
Yeah, that would have made
because
sense.
that would have been amazing, but
Yeah.
too expensive an operation.
Mm.
I didn't understand why they got rid of him.
It's ridiculous, right?
And yeah, I'm with Olan. I think give Potter time.
Right. There's a fly buzzing around. Are you all right, Olan? There's a fly that's gotten into the studio and it's freaking you out.
On my fucking arm.
But just hit it. Why don't you just hit it?
If I hit it, I'm too slow, bro.
Have you not gotten used to Australian bugs and shit?
He is too.
Olan was just way too slow for this fly. For anyone
Bro,
that saw.
flies are too quick, man.
All right. Speaking of too quick, didn't see it coming. Kepa Did not see that free kick. James Ward-Prowse has scored 17 Premier League free kicks.
It's flipping near post as well, bro.
I know, but he's
It's
very
near
good.
post. It's James Ward-Prowse. Where the fuck do you think he's going?
It's
Where else is he going? Apart from that near post.
He's now one behind David Beckham.
One
in
behind
the
Beck.
all-time-
He's that good at free
Yeah.
kicks.
It's crazy,
Actually unreal. How
He's not good at
it's
much else, though.
basically-
So
well, that's it. This is the question, right? So, Fedi Madeline sent a question and said, if Saints drop, who's picking up Ward-Prowse? Surely he's too good for the championship.
no, he's not.
No?
Nah, he's
not.
way good. He's way too good for the championship.
You think so?
How many free kicks can he give you a season?
Well, he's a set-piece machine.
He's
So
not.
what?
But is
so,
the rest of his game too good for the championship?
Yeah, I reckon.
You think so?
I reckon.
No?
I reckon. He's too good for championship, and his free kicks just add more as to why you'd want him in your team.
I think if he doesn't have those free kicks, he's a champion.
But he does have
Right. But
Southampton
Nah,
actually
I
don't
don't-
have a bad squad. Southampton have got some super talented young players,
have.
right?
So if
they,
you- if you could-
they don't deserve to be in the championship.
So if you could pinch, you're
The
looking way
fact
past
that he's
Ward-Prowse.
absolutely
Okay.
Tino Livramento,
Right.
Romeo Lavia,
Right.
players like that, they
Above-
don't deserve to be in the championship.
Ward-Prowse.
But Ward-Prowse, he's been there forever.
Yeah.
Southampton have never done anything with him there, even when they had like the Southampton super team that everybody came
And
and
Liverpool
took.
came
Yeah,
and
the Liverpool
swept,
came and
yeah.
took half of them.
Yeah.
He's never been the protagonist.
Right.
He's always seemed like the shining light in there. I don't
There
like
you
it.
go.
I don't know
There
if
you
I
go.
agree with that.
I
It'd
just-
be good to
okay.
get other people's opinions on that.
Well, I'd like to-
Hyphena-
I'd like to-
hyphenated surnames piss me off as well. Like
So that's why you don't like it.
Oxlade Chamberlain,
Yeah.
injured every single year
Yeah.
because I have a voodoo doll.
The Ox.
What is that?
I
Just you
forgot,
don't like how
I
it looks
forgot
on the-
about the Ox.
on the jersey?
He's still at Liverpool, isn't he?
I don't have time in my life to pronounce that guy's name.
Oxlade
Okay,
Chamberlain.
Just one. Stick to
just
one last
stick
name.
to one.
One's long enough. Meister Rob on Twitter has tweeted us going, which players from the bottom three clubs would you pick up at your team? Now, Juventus,
I'll take fucking all of them.
you know what I'm saying? Like, Juventus, big club, but they've signed some shit. Right, in the last couple of years. We're
Right,
talking Western. I'm
right.
not saying nothing, but Western McKennie's playing for a relegation club now in the
Yeah,
Premier League.
yeah.
You obviously picked up Aaron Ramsey at a point that no one really wanted him. So you guys do pick up these type of players. Is there anyone in the relegation zone or the Prem?
Who's currently in the relegation? Southampton.
Southampton are
I'd
down
take
there.
Livramento 100%.
Everton
Everton
still?
just got out.
Mhm.
Yes, now that West Ham lost, I think West Ham have stooped in there. So it's West Ham, Leeds, and Southampton.
West.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I'm really shocked about
Skamaka is that.
You take him at
yeah,
Juve?
He's a beast in Serie A for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nyonto. What about Nyonto?
Yeah, yeah.
You take him?
Nyonto's good.
Bring the Italians back.
Paquetá.
Yeah.
Paquetá's sick.
Decent play. Can dance as well.
Can dance.
Can dance,
Can
you caught
dance. Can pull off the goatee.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Who else? I would not take Weston McKennie back.
Nah.
No, I'll take Tyler Adams.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like that guy at all, but then the World Cup,
Yeah.
he showed a different level.
He showed that he's class.
Yeah.
West Ham. I mean, you spent a lot of time obviously over there in and around London. If West Ham go down, is that bigger than when Newcastle went down?
Nah, because West Ham will come back up.
Okay.
West Ham have gone down.
They
in
have
our
gone
lifetime.
down.
They've gone
They
down
have-
before. I reckon they'll bounce back and they'll come back
They
up.
went down after Alan Pardew saved them.
Yeah.
They then went down after Tevez and stuff left,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a shame because I thought they were one of the teams where they've kind of solidified, mid-table in the Prem, but
Yeah.
that's how the Prem is. You actually really never know who's going to be relegated any season.
It
like.
happens a lot where a team of that level will go on an amazing European Cup run,
Yeah.
it's too much.
And then
and the next season
the
they
next
fall
season they're
apart.
done.
Too many
Yeah,
games for them.
It's so true, so true. Look at them last year. they were-
Fulham made the final of the Europa League.
Yeah,
They
that's
knocked
right.
out Juve
That's right,
en
yeah.
route.
Yeah.
They lost in the final to, I assume,
Atletico Madrid.
Sevilla.
It was
or
Atletico.
Yeah,
one-
Sevilla, yeah,
one
always
of
there.
one of those two.
Schwarzer was in goals.
And then yes, he was.
Fun
And then
fact.
the next year relegated.
Yeah.
It happens so often.
They can't
tough.
handle that much. You have to shake.
you have to check.
You have to shake. You have to change.
You have to change.
In the words of Pep Guardiola, you have to shake. You can't just stick with your guns. George G. This is like a double question here because George. I'm going to actually ask the other question first because it was Sergey asked us, who's the next Aussie you see going to the Premier League? And then I'm not going to tell you what George said because George sent one in. But Sergey's asking, we now have Harry Souttar. He played against Man United. Unfortunately, copped his first loss in the Premier League.
A lot of people, I know it's on Twitter, but a lot of people are saying like Aussies are claiming Harry Souttar, right? Which I think
Harry
Aussies
Souttar.
Harry
Yeah.
Souttar, you should, but it's like the guy
He's
grew
not
up in England or in and around England.
What are you trying to say? We can't claim it?
Played up to I think it was Ireland. Was it Ireland? He played like
Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah,
He
his
played
brother plays for Scotland.
all the way coming up in the youth, and he's never
He's
played.
never been to Australia.
Never
He's
played
never
in
been here. He's
Australia.
never
and
set
it's
foot
like,
here.
Who cares?
Claiming him.
Who cares?
I hear it, Aussies.
Hold
I
on,
hear
hold on,
it.
hold on.
But it's like, is
Let me
he
tell you.
actually like a true?
Let me tell you
like,
something.
you should be supporting
tell you
Qual
something.
more than him.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something.
Harry Souttar's career would not have taken this trajectory if it wasn't for Australia.
Correct.
He would not
Correct.
Correct.
He would not have. He would not be playing for Leicester if it wasn't for Australia.
True.
Because the Socceroos springboarded him massively. Took a punt on him, shined the light on him at the FIFA World Cup. That's why he's gotten all these moves. Yes, maybe in the long run he would have got there with a promotion team, but it wouldn't have been this much hype.
All right. I think the answer to the question is Volpato.
Is the next Australian in the Prem?
Maybe.
Unless, of course, you
Maybe.
think Volpato is an Australian.
Which in case he's
In which
Italian.
case, Harry Souttar is not Australian.
Yeah.
Because you
They're
can't
all
have
Australian.
you can't have both.
They're all Australian, all right?
I actually think no one.
Who's going to be the next
I
Aussie
don't
in
see
the?
anyone.
You don't see an
I don't
Aussie?
see anyone.
Well, George G on Twitter tweeted us, Riley McGree must be the next Aussie in the Prem. Middlesbrough have moved up to third. They're within 4 points of second place Sheffield. He
Legree's
scored again.
He's the one that scored that freakish goal, didn't he?
Yeah,
Before
the
he went
scorpion.
over to
Yeah.
Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. No
Maybe.
comment?
I mean, he'll get lucky if Middlesbrough come up, and he'll just be a passenger, and he will never play.
But no, there's no Aussies worthy of being signed.
No,
You didn't see any Garen Qual hype? You didn't buy into that?
I don't
Aaron,
buy into the Garen Cole.
You don't buy the Qual hype?
No,
What?
no.
No.
I don't buy the hype.
No. What do you
No?
mean you don't buy the hype?
I don't buy
There
the
is
hype.
no hype. He is that
Well,
good. It's not hype.
because he's doing well for Hearts.
No, did you see what he done in the A-League off the bench?
Because he did something in the A League.
Yes.
We're supposed to buy the hype for this guy because he did something in the A League and for Hearts.
Yeah. Yes. And look what he done
It's
in the
'cause
World
he was
Cup.
so young.
All right.
And
Because
look
he was
at
so young.
but look at the age he's at. We go
It's
age.
because he's young. It's
right?
because he's young as well.
Yep.
You go age.
Yep.
You go how he performed when he came on in the World Cup.
Yep.
And then you go the potential for him to be great.
Okay.
Why else Newcastle buy him?
All right.
No,
Well,
why would
he's owned
why
by
the
a
fuck
Premier
would
League club.
Newcastle buy him?
All right.
He's owned by...
Arzani says hello. You know, Mas Luongo says hello.
He's not one of them.
All right.
He's in a different category.
I'll
Let's
see you in
see.
3 years. I'll see you in 3 years.
Ah,
There you go.
We'll come
He's
back
playing
to
with
this- we'll
Perth
come back to
Glory
this-
in 3 years.
We'll come back to this clip.
Let's see.
Don't worry, I believe you.
I have
Paul.
no faith, man. Like you said it before that I like to be. I don't like to be political. Like
Okay.
I've gotten in trouble on TikTok from very. Cat actually said it best, man. Like football. Fandom on TikTok in particular,
Yeah.
it's lunacy. It's
Oh, yeah.
absolute
Yeah,
lunacy.
yeah.
It's like you've
You can't-
gone into their house and kicked their dog
Yeah,
when
that's
you
how
say
angry
something
they
to
get.
them.
They
You
get
can't,
very
People got angry at me, but I don't think like okay for context for people that might not know, I talked a bit of shit about Australian football in and around the World Cup. After we got thumped by France, I made a video basically saying why are so many people in Australia saying this mediocrity is acceptable. Go the boys, whatever. We got thumped by the world champions, and why do we accept this level of mediocrity? Why aren't we upset as a nation that we don't have a top tier football team in Australia?
Right. But that's because. But hold on.
That's
What
a
excuses?
layered,
what
that's a
ex-
layered question.
Yeah,
though.
but
What
what-
excuses are there?
Did you? How'd you feel after we then went 1-1?
I felt great because
Okay.
you know why?
Why?
Because the Socceroos agreed with me.
Yeah.
That level of mediocrity is unacceptable.
It's true, it's
so
true.
they raised their level and they fucking made it with a team that is the worst Socceroos team I've seen in my lifetime, but
Right.
somehow they did it.
Right.
Because they had a Scottish guy in defence. But that's
Suter.
Hardy
And then it
fucking
all links back
Sutar.
together.
But no, like there's an element of what you're saying which I agree with, which is that we need to not accept mediocrity, and we are a nation with a lot of riches in a lot of ways, and a sporting nation as well that demands the best when we go to Olympic Games. and the
Sporting
rest.
nation, first world country,
Yes.
affluence, infrastructure. There's
Yes,
absolutely
but we've
no.
never, but we, any of our other games
Mhm.
and our other sports don't have a culture like football. So it is very hard for people to have invested for years in things like cricket and AFL and rugby league to understand the global scale of football, the amount of money required to compete in football, and justify spending that when these other codes do not require that
That much
level of
money.
investment.
Okay.
They're not
Fine.
used to it. It's foreign
Fine.
to them. They don't
But
like it.
It's a risk reward payoff
It
because
is.
you're never going to get what you could potentially get out of football with
Yeah.
any of those other sports because they're not global.
Do
games.
you think that the decision makers at the very top, and I'm not even talking in the governing body of football, but in the government, let's say, do you think the decision makers want football to get to that level?
They must. They
They
must.
don't.
Do they want football
Why?
to get to that
Why?
level?
Right.
How could
Okay,
they
so
not?
Sydney Derby, prime example, right? When it happened, not this one, but I think the last one was like 34,000. something like that.
Allianz, yeah.
When that happened, what was on news the next day? how we're hooligans, how
Yeah,
we're they don't want it to get to that level because then it competes with AFL,
Well,
NRL.
it'll simply kill every other
But
sport.
but for what reason? Okay, is that the reason?
Well, not that it would kill, it would take away the significance of it. Like, it's hard to get excited about things when there's something so much bigger happening at the same time. Why would you get excited about... I mean, I personally love State of Origin. I think it's great. But I think the worry of people is, why would you get excited about New South Wales versus Queensland when you have this world game and you have the opportunity to compete in World Cups? Why would we support the Kangaroos?
That's
mate,
the
when you have-
opposite of the conversation that I intercepted with you two at the cafe just before, where we need to influence
We do.
fandom.
I agree.
And the fans are last.
I agree, but I'm saying I agree. I personally think that, I have a rugby league team, rugby union, not so much. I have a rugby league team. I have I have an AFL team. I enjoy other codes. You should. The players all enjoy other codes. The problem's not
fans.
that. The problem's not us. The problem is the fans, but the problem is also the people at the top that are weary of football. Always have been.
It's not
weary
just
of
the
football.
top; it's all the way. Like Ange Postecoglou has said it every single time
Yes.
he's been interviewed.
Yes.
He left Australia because the bureaucratic and systemic blockades of getting things
But
done.
it's also because football represents other things. And let's not get political. But
We are getting political here.
Well, we are.
This is the most political we've ever got on the
This
board
is-
of side.
you know what
but
bothers- you know what bothers
football
me?
represents a lot of, and it always has. Football represents other ethnicities in Australia. It always has.
does.
It
It
always
does.
has.
And why is that a bad thing?
100%.
It shouldn't be, but to some people it is.
But it feels like a threat to some people.
Okay. I would argue that it is so much like we're making it seem like, and from the outside, it would seem like it's a seismic thing that needs to shift. That's a very difficult thing.
Right.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
If you consider right now, this is arguable. You might disagree with me, but of the top 5 players in the Premier League right now, 2 of them are from Norway.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Massive other sporting culture.
Yeah.
Much smaller population. No football pedigree in the past. No offense, Jan Argafjortov.
Sean Anna Risa.
Legend.
player.
Legend.
Great
Yeah, sorry, my bad. How did they do it?
Yeah.
It's no
But
coincidence.
that's also a very
That's a great
affluent
que- that's a
first
great
world country.
Exactly.
That does, and so it should replicate in sport. You'd think so. We should, as Australia, for God's sake, which a lot of people would trade their passports to live in Australia. You think it'd be a country that have a good footballing system?
100%.
Because we don't want to have one.
Well, look,
true.
I'm going to take your words for it because you guys are way more in this game than I am. I'm just looking at it as a guy who makes jokes and like.
You're not wrong, though.
I'm not trying to be
good
a provocateur.
You're
conversation.
saying what we all want.
Yeah.
But people on the internet went at me like I'm trying to be some kind of angry provocateur or he's just shitting on football. No.
No, you want better.
I want to see Australia win the fucking World Cup in my lifetime.
It should be a realistic goal. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It should be a realistic goal. Premier League. Quick last word on the Premier League. Arsenal put a bit of daylight because City decided to hand them one with a draw at Nottingham Forest. Arsenal winning the Prem?
Oh, man. I watched City Arsenal last week and I thought it's done.
It's over.
It's done. Yeah, City are going to gobble them.
Right.
And then,
Then they go do that.
no.
don't-
So, I don't know. I want
don't
him to. I want him to. I don't know. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I want change.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
You'd rather Arsenal win than City?
oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, sick of City.
Absolutely. Especially because Pep actually came out and said, I'm sick of winning the Premier League. Somebody else can have it a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah,
weeks ago.
yeah.
And then if he goes on to win it, it's like, what are we saying here?
Yeah, well, 2 massive misses there for Erling Haaland in that game, which proved very costly. At 1-0, he missed 2 sitters. He still is winning the Golden Boot by a long, long way. Wazza, though, has tossed up Rashford. Could Rashford catch him for the Golden Boot, or at least Premier League best player of this season? Player of the
think-
year.
I think he should be.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I reckon the turnaround Rashford's had, I probably want to see him get that award, but I don't know if he will.
Even if City or Arsenal win the league,
Yeah.
is Rashford the best player this season?
I think so.
Yeah.
Do they consider what happens in the cups for that player as
No,
well?
not
Because if
Premier League player
United
of the year.
win the League Cup,
Yeah.
protagonist, bit of silverware.
Massive silverware is big. He'll definitely win United's best player. Although
sure.
shout out to De Gea, who made a cracking save before Rashford's goal. Quick word on that. They do have a cup final coming up this week. It's United taking on Newcastle. Feels like a big final now because for Newcastle, for the new owners, it'd be a big one that they'll want. But for Newcastle, Nick Pope came out. Handball against Liverpool. Did you see how far out of his box
yep.
it was, right? Ridiculous. The way he was scoring a rugby union try. He got a red card, which because it's an FA trophy, it carries over. So he can't play the Carabao Cup final.
Dubravka's cup tied.
Dubravka was on loan at United at the start of the season. Didn't play in the Premier League, but Eric Ten Hag, he was playing chess, not checkers. Eric Ten Hag played him in the League Cup, meaning Dubravka cannot
Can't
play
for
in the cup final. So they are left with Loris Karius, more than likely.
The The flipping...
which hasn't played since the Champions League final.
The Champions League brother who dropped it.
And
had
threw
a
it to Benzema.
concussion and all this sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
that guy.
Oh, no.
Hasn't played yet. He could be back. But the other story with
Redemption time.
Dubravka's Newcastle's goalkeeper has been for quite some time. He went out on loan at United, but he's Newcastle goalkeeper. If Newcastle win the Carabao Cup, he does not get a medal. If Newcastle, his team, lose the Carabao Cup final, he gets a medal from Manchester United.
Well, I'll tell you one
It's a
thing.
lose-lose.
I'll tell you one thing.
It's a lose-lose. What are you going to tell your kids?
He's getting a medal.
He will get a medal either way,
I think
right?
even if Nick Pope was playing, United are going to kill him.
Oh, you're saying that's why he's getting a medal.
Nah,
United will kill him?
Newcastle is solid, man.
They are, but United
will kill him?
Yeah, United are the real deal.
Watch this space. They do look like the real deal at the moment. But speaking of Man United, they are selling the club, and maybe that's why the players are playing so well. They know new owners are going to come in, and that's when things start to shake.
Are these Qataris as well?
Well, the Qataris are
We're
in
talking-
with it. Yep, Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani, part of the Al Thani royal family, which there's like 700 of them.
Wow. So he's part of the royal...
Yeah, that own PSG.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So they're all just sitting around the table saying, which club should we buy?
Well, exactly
which
right.
club should we buy? Oh,
Who do
you
you
buy
like?
that
Who
one.
you like this
You buy that
week?
one,
Yeah.
I'll buy that one, and we can all play each other. Oh, my
Exactly
God.
right. So he's 44, very young, Qatari banker, Man United supporter. He's a bit involved with PSG, which could be a conflict of interest, but hey, who's counting? Net worth 1.3 billion US. Him. That's just what we know about.
Is he tall?
Is he tall? Why is
He
that?
could play in golf for Newcastle.
Well, maybe that's why he just wants to stick it to the Saudis, which own Newcastle. But he was educated in the UK, so he's been there for quite some time. He's served in the Qatari Armed Forces, married to his cousin.
What?
Married to his cousin.
I just throw that in there.
Just you know.
Okay.
It's not just the South Americans.
Yeah. They're all doing it. Okay, fair enough.
Married to his cousin.
We're the
Keep-
weirdos.
Keeping it in the family. Okay.
Yeah, married to his cousin, and they have 8 children together, as you do. Now,
8.
yeah,
Wow.
8 too much?
Yeah, way too much. That's
Yeah?
almost a starting 11. Jesus. Popping them out.
Yeah, well, you know, but
A lot of missing chromosomes though in that family.
oh, Jesus.
I have to cut that, but that's a good one. Oh, fucking hell.
Well, yeah, look, we don't recommend dating family members, but while we're on the topic of Manchester United potentially being bought by Qataris, it's a chance for me to bring this one up because Themchester United is trending on Twitter.
Themchester United.
Themchester. Because Sam Smith, you know Sam Smith,
Yeah.
the singer? Why you roll your eyes when I say Sam Smith?
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I'm
Them
not-
Chester United.
Right.
I'm not
So-
a fan of Sam Smith.
You're not a fan of Sam Smith?
Not at the moment.
Were
no.
you a fan of Sam Smith?
I liked him, like, back in the, like, when he was
First
coming
album.
up. What was his first song again?
great.
I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
No, Stay With Me.
Stay.
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
You hit the note.
Stay with me.
You hit the note very
that
well.
one. I didn't mind him.
That was a good album, Midnight Train. If you just want to cry with some ice cream, great album.
I'm seeing
Yeah.
too much devil stuff now. I'm just like,
He's a bit much, yeah.
He's gone on the other side. He's been eaten up. So
It's clear attention whore, just like that costume that he wore at that award show.
Yeah.
Sorry, that they wore at the award
yeah,
show.
they
That's
proper
just-
pronouns.
Yeah,
pronouns.
use the pronouns, bro.
Yeah.
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 So what's that? What's the correlation?
Well, Sam Smith brought up apparently didn't like the term fisherman. He was on a BBC interview and he got angry at the term fisherman and said there should be fisher them.
Oh my lord! This
Because
is where we are
if-
right
if-
now.
No, I agree.
if
I totally agree.
This is where we-
Fisher person, fire person, person whole cover, all of it.
This is actually ludicrous.
Well, that's the thing, right? So,
what are we really doing? We can't even say fisherman.
well, this
nowadays.
is why Manchester United should be Themchester United.
Oh my lord! That just clicked.
Them Chester United.
You know, and that's trending. That's trending.
Manchester United. Instead
police
of
them.
Manchester United.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Something tells me the Qataris won't be going for that.
let's cancel football.
If they buy the club.
Just
Man.
cancel football right now. So he was kind of complaining about.
Well, he was
as
complaining about Fisher them.
And then people
But
was-
Twitter's gone saying, all right, well, all the things we have to change, and one of them is
Oh,
Manchester.
That's
Can you
top.
imagine
that's
if we got to
top
change-
shithousery.
That's top shithousery.
I love purely. I love Twitter for them kind of reasons.
Yeah, yeah. You do find some good things on Twitter. But speaking of name changes, Bolton Wanderers, remember them?
Yeah. Oh, Pala de Cano. Is it Pala de Cano?
You think JJ
JJ
Kocha?
Kocha,
Yeah,
big
Nigerians
players.
so good they named him
Yeah,
twice.
yeah.
What a footballer. They've had a massive fall from grace, and they're struggling.
Where are they now?
Down in League One, yeah.
League One, yeah.
League
I know.
One. So they Reebok Stadium. It was called Reebok Stadium all the way back when they were in the Prem.
Yeah.
They've changed the name though. New sponsors. Tough Sheet.
That's the name of
Tough Sheet.
the club.
That's the name of the sponsor.
Tough shit.
So
or
it's now
Tough Sheet.
it's now Tough Sheet Stadium.
How is it spelled?
Tough Sheet.
SHE.
EET.
What the fuck?
They're actually about 20 years too late because when Sam Allardyce was there,
sheet.
tough sheet
It
would
was
have been,
tough sheet
would have
would have made sense, right?
appropriate.
You do anything for cash
I
sometimes.
don't understand. Sheet.
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 Tough
As in
sheet.
like
Sheet, like a-
clothing sheet. Like
No,
cloth
no, I
sheet.
don't think it's sheets.
No sheet, Sherlock.
I would assume it's like sheets of. I would assume it's some sort of building material. No,
No, I would
like,
have thought beds.
no, it's building, isn't it, Shabs? Yeah, it's a building company.
Ah.
Tough shit. But anyway, some of the other great names we have of stadiums: Pizza Hut Park,
Where's that? What is that?
Texas, USA, baby. Where the fuck you think it is? Of course.
Sounds about right.
Right. In Switzerland, we have the Wankdorf Stadium.
Yeah,
Right.
Whacked off.
Wankdorf Stadium.
I got that at home.
That's fine.
You got the
Got a
Wankdorf?
few of them stadiums. Yeah.
You ever been to the Wankdorf Stadium?
Yeah. A few times.
Couple times. Single life. It gets you. In Ireland, we have the Hunky Dory's Park.
Hunky
Not bad.
dories.
Dick's Sporting Goods Park in
Ah, yeah,
Colorado,
that's
because we know
definitely
Dick's
American.
Sporting
Yeah,
Goods.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Cunt Stadium in Indianapolis.
What?
Yeah,
How's
Cunt.
this? There's no way it's spelled like that.
Kuntz. It could,
Oh
it
my
could be
God.
Kuntz. It could be Kuntz.
Cunt
But
Stadium.
if it's Kuntz, producer Shabs has left out an accent on the U. I'm reading what I
Cunt
see here.
Stadium.
Cunt Stadium in
Please-
Indianapolis.
Please let us know.
You ever been there?
No, no.
But you've met a few in your time.
Yeah, I've met a few that belong there.
Yeah,
to be
you've met a
honest.
few.
Absolutely. You know what I heard a couple of weeks ago? I know we're running out of time, but there's this stadium, the big stadium in LA, where the
Where the Rams?
Dodgers play.
Oh, the Dodgers, yeah.
They have the system for keeping pigeons out. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
Their system for keeping pigeons out. No electric fence. No technology of any kind. They have a falconer. And he has two falcons,
And they just
and he
fucking-
releases the falcons, and the falcons fuck the pigeons up.
How American
That's-
is that?
How American is that?
What
Fuck
the-
yeah, freedom, baby.
Oh my! And they're just eating up all
They're
the
just
pigeons.
eating the pigeons. Yep.
Wow.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
What?
That is USA, baby. That's
love to watch
freedom.
that.
That's a freedom eagle right
I
there.
love it.
Eating the fuck out of those pigeons, those Nazi pigeons. Let's now talk a bit of Champions League quickly because we're in the halfway point of the Champions League first leg. Firstly, looking back at the week that was, Milan beat Tottenham. I know we like to shine the light on the Italian teams here, Lakash. Are you one of those Italians that you go for Juventus so you hate everyone else in the Champions League?
No,
Okay.
I support every Italian team in
I
the
can't
Champions
stand
League.
people that do that.
It makes no. I was even supporting Inter when they won the treble.
Okay.
No, because what's good for the goose is good for the giving,
Right.
or however that expression goes.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping and I'm optimistic about a clean sweep for the Italian teams
Right.
because Inter can beat Porto.
That's a tough game.
um,
Napoli, you'd think
Napoli
should
would
beat
beat
Frankfurt. But
that's my German team, by the way.
Right.
And I think Milan should do it against Spurs because they're so injury depleted.
Yeah.
Spurs.
Well,
Spurs are in the top spot.
no, like, what do we think of Tottenham?
Shit.
Right, no one likes Tottenham. But for you, as a Chelsea fan, another London rival club, Tottenham go to Champions League, they go play AC Milan. Do you go for Tottenham?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always in the Champions League. I always support the English team.
Okay,
Really?
all right. So you're like that
Always,
too.
yeah,
You're like that too.
always.
I think a lot of English fans don't as well. I think it's probably more common with the English fans
Probably more.
to go against each other.
But that makes sense though because they're not underdogs.
Yeah,
You know,
because
like
they
if,
are the biggest.
If your
But
team,
they were
doesn't,
once
if your
upon a
team
time.
doesn't do well now, they'll
Yeah.
do well next year. It's okay.
Eventually, maybe not Tottenham.
Not
though.
Chelsea, not
Yeah,
Tottenham.
and not Tottenham because Tottenham are allergic to it. But Milan are up 1-0. Let's see how that goes. Bayern Munich beat Paris in Paris 1-0.
Ha!
Do you just see Bayern are just too much of a juggernaut? They're gonna stroll through that.
Paris is shit.
Whoa,
They're shit.
it's a big call.
I hate him.
That's a-
You hate them, huh?
No offense.
I'm
They're-
rocking it. Yeah.
It is a nice kit, but yeah, I hate them. I hate everything they represent, and I want them to be terrible forever.
Right, there you go. Benfica up on Bruges. We do have an Aussie down there at Bruges, I believe, in the coaching staff. Paul Ocon is involved with Club Bruges.
Yeah.
He is. Funny guy as well. He's one of the assistant coaches, but Benfica look like they'll get that done. Dortmund 1-0 up on Chelsea. Are you worried, or
saw
you think
that.
Stamford Bridge will get it done?
Stamford Bridge will get it done.
Yeah?
I reckon.
European nights?
I reckon it's the only thing we've got to play for at the moment.
Yeah.
Really. So I reckon they'll turn it
Enzo
around.
Fernandez was on skates, wasn't he?
Yeah.
In that
But
counter.
also, Dortmund didn't deserve it. They had one attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dortmund are a little
That's-
bit. They're a young
you
squad.
even look at the Chelsea. That's what's been happening. It's like one attack, one
Yeah.
1-0 at home seems
Yeah.
to be happening.
They're cursed, man. Cursed at the
So-
moment. But this week is a great week. Liverpool, Real Madrid. Liverpool hitting form just in time for this game. Can they knock the champions out?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I think they're in much better form than Real. I
Yeah.
think it's at that point where Uncle Carlo's magic is run out.
Yeah.
I think that Liverpool can do them.
Wow, that'd be massive. Napoli.
Where is
taking-
it? Where's the first? Is it at?
It's at Anfield the first game.
If it's at Anfield, then I'm going. Go back Liverpool at Anfield. To be
yeah.
fair.
Yeah, those European nights there. Napoli taking on Frankfurt away in Germany. Tricky game. But Napoli probably are the best team in Europe at the moment, playing that well. You wouldn't bet past them. RB Leipzig hosts City. That is a great That's a money match in itself. RB Leipzig didn't exist in 2009.
Yep.
City barely existed in 2009.
You don't want to say that on the internet. Trust me.
That'll be a great game. You'd think City would get it done, but RB on their day are very tricky, and Inter Porto as well. The Portuguese get up for the Champions League.
They do, but Porto aren't that good. Benfica are the
far
ones to
superior.
watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
Benfica I think could have a semi-final berth
Right.
this year. They're very good.
Right.
They absolutely
Even though they lost Darwin Nunes.
owned.
He'll be back there soon, I'll tell you that now.
He probably will. Either way, he's going to play for Benfica B. Quick questions thrown into the pod. Liana Boccanfuso. Napoli, a sure thing for the Scudetto. Is it over?
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
You can't catch him at this point.
No way.
It would be the biggest catastrophe in Italian football.
Unless they award Juve 15 points back and then another 15 on top
It's not happening.
for our troubles.
Yeah.
No one's because if Juve get the 15 back, we're second.
Yeah, they would be. Yeah,
15
right.
points behind.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's never been more than a 12-point gap
It's
between first and
crazy.
second in
It's
Serie A in
insane.
history
It's
in the
insane.
3-point era.
Yeah.
It's done.
Wow.
Forget about it.
It'd be crazy. I'm actually working potentially. This is confident. Fuck it.
This is confidential, as you're about to say it.
I'm working potentially on a little trip to Napoli.
Okay.
Sick.
To see what it means for the city if they
Okay.
win this Scudetto. I'll see how it goes. Could
Who
be
are we
me.
going to get to replace him when he gets assassinated?
Yeah.
That is-
Why?
It's not a safe city, bro.
Hey,
It's
what
not
do
a
you mean? I'll bring up my Napolitano. I'll be all right.
All right.
That's all right. I'll leave all the jewelry at home.
Yeah.
It's a great
That's-
place,
That's what
though.
you got to
I
do.
do love
Is
the
it
people.
like that?
Napoli's a great
Can
place.
it be kind of rough?
It can be.
It's the most dangerous
So I won't be
city in
going
Italy.
there.
But Napoli's a great place, though. It's like you got to take the good with the bad. It's such a beautiful city with so much vibrance, and the people are awesome. But you might get your shit stolen. But it's great.
Bit like London.
Yeah, and it's like Mulan. You just cross the road without looking because no one will stop for you.
They held up Marek Hamšík at like gunpoint and knife point when he was captain of Napoli 7 times.
Yeah, but did he have
What?
a bad game? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Did you miss a sitter?
Yeah, that excuses it.
If
yeah.
you miss a sitter, you can
For
expect
sure,
that.
For sure.
You know?
Also,
Yeah.
have you I assume you know about the Quagliarella stalker story
While he was at Napoli.
while he was at Napoli.
Well, I'm not surprised.
I covered this for my podcast.
Mr. Sitter podcast to anyone that's listening.
Yeah, we don't have time to go into it now, but it's the
Check it out.
craziest football story
Right.
I think I've ever heard in my life.
Right. Well, I'll take that opportunity to plug it. Check out the Mr. Sitter podcast. Some big guests coming up soon, apparently, if what I'm hearing is true.
It's big hosts. Don't worry.
Well,
about
the big host.
guests.
All right, don't worry about the guests. It's all about the host.
Yeah.
But there could potentially be some big collaborations coming up there, so keep an eye on it. It's an awesome potty. S. Koya, 17. What team do you love to hate? I think it's love to hate. I assume that's what they're trying to say.
What have they
What-
said?
What team do you love to hate to watch? Love to hate to watch.
Love to hate
What
to watch.
team
The
do you
fuck does that mean?
love to hate to watch?
Producer Chefs, why you put these fucking questions in there when they don't make sense? Are you trying to piss me off? What the fuck is that?
Do you get what you're trying to say?
I don't understand.
Love to hate to watch, like you love.
I'm
them,
gonna
but
change that.
What tweets do you love to hate to read?
I
That
love
makes zero
Esquire.
sense.
You're a fan of the pod. I'm a fan of you. So don't. I'm joking, but I'm going to reword your question. What team do you love to watch lose?
Okay.
I'm going to take that.
that's
and reword it.
easy for me. That's Man United.
Always Man United.
Always Man United.
It's just
All right,
funny
hang
when
on,
they
hang
lose.
on, hang on. Because it's obvious for us, right? Because it'll be Man United, like the rival teams. Let's
Yeah.
take rival teams out though.
Okay.
Find just a random team that you're like, ha.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love when Bayern Munich
I
lose.
rate it.
They
too.
lost on the weekend. I was very happy.
I like.
I don't even have a German team. I just like when they lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're going internationals, I like Germany.
To lose. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
that's
like seeing the
fair. That's
Germans.
nice seeing the
All
Germans.
tough.
PSG.
Yeah, you lost.
Yeah.
PSG, Man City, just
Yeah,
any
the money teams.
The money teams.
You like seeing the money
and
teams
then
lose.
nationally, Germany. You know what? I don't like watching England lose.
Oh, really?
England
Interesting.
England is supposed to be this like everyone wants to watch England lose, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I've felt sorry for England my whole life.
Damn.
So you want them to win?
I want them to win.
can't
I'd love
relate.
them to win.
I can't relate.
I've seen them have
Interesting.
amazing players my entire life,
Right.
and they're the international Spurs.
Fuck, I've never thought about that.
That is
is-
probably the best way to put
That
it.
is the most factual statement.
That is a good way to
Fuck,
put it.
International Spurs.
That is fantastic.
wild.
But hey, the women's team's great,
Yes, it is.
and that we're going to see them here on
the
home
man
soil.
them couldn't, so the gal them could.
Exactly right.
That's the phrase.
Exactly
Man, I
right.
heard somebody on a different podcast suggest Serena Wigman to coach
The man.
The men's team.
for England. And I'm like,
Jeez.
you know what? You could do a lot worse.
That would be huge.
Could you imagine?
Can you imagine the statement that would send toward football?
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great one.
That'd be great.
Be a great. I mean, okay, it was a man we're talking about, wasn't it? It'd probably be a bigger statement because it's a woman. But the Canadian women's team coach who did so well with Canada moved to the men's and got them to finally to the World Cup. So it
And
can
then he
work.
talked
There's
shit
a lot
about
of
Croatia and
yeah, exactly. And he was and now let's not talk about the Canadian FA, what they're doing with the women's team, because we spoke about that last week. Regardless, it was a good way to end the pod. I like that. The Tottenham of the international scene, England. But the women's team are very, very good. Thanks for joining us here on Born Offside.
Appreciate it.
Lakash.
Thank you for having me, gents.
If you haven't seen any of his stuff, make sure you check him out, Anthony Lacascio and the Mr. Sit Up podcast. You're touring now? You're
Yes,
about to
I
tour?
am. Adelaide in March.
Don't break the mic.
Yeah, I'm much better with the mic on stage. Adelaide in March, April in Melbourne, and then Perth, Sydney, Newcastle in May. So if you're in any of those
Sick.
cities,
Busy time.
Yeah,
Check him out.
let's do it.
Fantastic. Check that out, guys. And of course, you can catch myself, OLANTEKKERS, Kat Haddad here each and every week. So make sure you subscribe to the pod. Follow us on all our socials. And check out later this week because we've got Lockie Rose, A-League footballer, on the pod to chat all things about the local game. See you then.
So yeah.